This class we are going to see about a breadth first search. So in case of breadth first search, we are going to start from the given vertex of the graph. After that, we'll be considering which are all the nodes we can search or visit from that particular given node. And in this, first you are going to select your source node as the current vertex. After that, you will mark that vertex is visited. Then you are going to now explore the current node completely. So what is the meaning of exploring the current node completely is, if the current node is having 4 or 5 neighbors, you will visit all the neighbors of the current node if they are not visited. After finishing all the neighbors of the current node, then only you will move on to the next node exploration. So this is not the case in DFS. In DFS, once you start one of the neighbors that are unvisited with respect to the current node, you will explore that node only. You will stop the execution of the current node. But here it is not the case. You take one current node, whichever neighbors of that node are unvisited, you will visit all the neighbors completely. So this step will be repeated until all your vertices have been explored in the given graph. Now, let us see how this BFS is going to work. Let us see the algorithm for that. In order to implement BFS, we need to go for queue data structure. So when you start, you're going to initialize an empty queue. After that, you will start with the given current node. If none of the nodes are specified as a source node, then you will be taking any node as you like. But here, if they mention any source node, that should be considered. So start with the source node first. After that, you have to mark that node as visited, because initially none of the nodes will be visited. So mark the source node as visited. Then you display it. After that, insert that particular source node into the queue. Now this is done only with respect to the source node. Then what you're going to do is, you're going to repeat certain steps while your queue is not empty, because you're going to push everything, insert everything into the queue. So you need to do certain steps while the queue is not empty. So what are the steps you are going to follow is, first, whichever node is available in the queue, that you have to delete it. And always, in case of queue, we will be deleting the nodes in the first in, first out. So whichever node is inserted into the queue first, that will be deleted first. So delete the vertex from the queue. The moment you delete the vertex from the queue, you have to explore that vertex. So what is the meaning of exploring that vertex is? For all the adjacent vertices of the vertex you have deleted from the queue, you have to first check whether that adjacent vertex has been visited or not. If it is not visited, you have to go and visit that particular vertex. Then once you visit it, you mark it as visited. After that, display that. Then you have to insert that node into the queue. So these are all the 3 steps you have to follow for every node you are going to visit. So first thing is, visit the adjacent node if it is not visited. Second one is, after you visit, display it in the graph, that is in the output. Then you insert that node into the queue. The reason is, next we are going to explore that particular node. So whatever node you are going to explore that, next that should be in the queue. So we are going to insert that node into the queue. So these steps we are going to repeat many times as long as your queue is not empty. When your queue is empty, it means that you have visited all the nodes in your graph that are reachable from the given source node. Sometimes, in case of the directed graph, you may not have any path to a particular node. So whichever you can reach from the source node, those only you will be visiting. So once you come outside the loop, or when the queue is empty, it means that you have already visited all the nodes that are reachable from the source node. So with that, your algorithm will be over. Now let us see one example to understand this. First, this is a graph given to me. I have an undirected graph. So in case of undirected graph, all the edges are bidirectional. That means that if I have an edge from A to B, the meaning is I can reach from A to B using the edge, as well as from B, I can reach A using the same edge. If I have direction in the edges, then only I have to consider the adjacency matrix properly. So here, now first we are going to start with the source vertex. Let me assume that A is the source vertex. So I'm going to write A in the graph. After that, I'm going to mark an array visited. Initially, when I start, all the entries in the visited array will be equal to 0. And the size of this visited array is nothing but it is equal to the number of vertices in your graph. So here totally I have 8 vertices in the graph. So initially I'll be starting with a 1D array called visited that will be having all the 8 entries as 0 initially. Similarly, I'll also maintain a queue the size of the queue you are going to determine. So you can make the size of the queue as equal to again the size of the graph. That is nothing but number of vertices in the graph. So here also the queue size is 8. Now what we are going to do first? First we are going to start with the source node. Let us go and mark the source node as visited. So in the visited array for A, I am marking as 1. After that, in the queue, I have to push the source node. So I am pushing A in the queue. After that, I am writing A in the output. So these three works you have to do. Mark it as visited, push it into the queue, that is insert it into the queue. After that, draw it in the output. So next, what you're going to do? You're going to explore this node completely. So what is the meaning of exploring the node completely is, you remove the node from the queue. After that, you go and check all the neighbors of that particular node. So now I'll be removing this node A from the queue. When I remove A from the queue, then I will check which are all the nodes I can reach from A. So that is done with the help of adjacency matrix only. We are drawing the adjacency matrix only to know which are all the neighbors. So in the adjacency matrix, you have to check in the row of A, in which column you have 1. In whichever column you have 1, in the row of A, it means that those nodes are your neighbors. But in case of graph, how to check the neighbors? Check whether there is a direct edge connecting two nodes. So here A is connected to 3 different nodes, that is B, C and D. There should be a direct link. So these 3 are the neighbors now. So what is my step now? I have to go and check out of these neighbors which is not visited so far. So how to check it? Go and check in the visited array. So first I am checking the neighbors. You can take the neighbors in any order. When you are drawing by hand, you can draw in any order. But when you are doing in the program, go for some uniform way. So now, when I am considering the vertices, I am going to consider them in the alphabetical order. If it is alphabets. If it is letters, I'll be considering in the, if it is a digit, I'll be considering in the ascending order. So now, I am going to start with B. Because I have 3 neighbors now, B, C and D. I'm going to consider in the alphabetical order. So let me start with B. So now go and check whether B is visited. Previously, it was 0. So in this, in the previous slide, it was 0. That means it is unvisited. So now I'm going to visit that. So 3 steps I have to follow. First, mark visited of B is equal to 1. After that, push or insert B into the queue. Now remember, already you have deleted A from the queue. Okay, so B will be now inserted in the first position of the queue only. So now insert B in the queue. After that, draw B in the output graph. So where I have to give the connection, you have to see from which node you are reaching this B. I am reaching B from A. Therefore, I have to give a connection of connection between A and B now. Okay, so now from A, I can reach 3 neighbors, but I have explored only 1 neighbor. I have to now finish the exploration of all the neighbors of A. So what I have to do now, go and check the other neighbor of B, A. So that means next I'm going to consider C. I'll check whether C is visited. But now C is not visited. So go and mark C as visited. Mark 1 here. After that, insert C into the queue. Then connect C to A. Now you have marked with respect to C. Then go and check the next neighbor of A. A is having 1 more neighbor, that is D. Check whether it is visited or not. D is not visited so far. It is having 0 in the visited array. So you can now go and mark visited of D as 1. After that, insert D in the queue. Then add D in the output by connecting to A. Now check the other neighbors of A. We don't have any other neighbor. There are only 3 neighbors of A. We have already finished all the 3 neighbors. That means since you cannot proceed further from A, you have to delete the next element from the queue. So now in the queue, there are 3 elements, B, C and D. Which element we can delete now? In the case of queue, we will be following the FIFO order, first in, first out. So whichever you have inserted first into the queue, that will be deleted first. So we are going to now delete B from the queue. Now you can check one thing. A is having 3 neighbors. We have explored all the 3 neighbors in the breadthwise. That means first we have started with this A. We have completed all the neighbors of A. Then only we are going to the next level. Okay, so we can consider that this BFS is similar to level order traversal in case of a trees. In tree, in the level order traversal, first we'll start with the root node. We will finish that. After that, we will go to level 1. Whichever nodes are available in level 1, we will display that. Okay, then we will go to level 2. We will display all the nodes. So here in case of graph, what is the meaning of level? We don't have anything as level in the graph. Here, first you are starting with one node. Whichever is directly connected to that node by means of one edge, those nodes you are visiting first. So we can say that that is similar to nodes in the level 1. After that, you will be going to the nodes which are neighbors of this node. That means A I am considering. Okay, now what is E with respect to A? It is nothing but neighbor of its neighbor. Okay, so those nodes you will be visiting next. So for that only, now I am going to remove B from the queue. When I remove B from the queue, I have to now explore with respect to B. Currently, you have finished everything with respect to A. Do the exploration with respect to B. So what I have to check now? I have to now consider the neighbors of B. B is having two neighbors. They are A and E. Now take in the alphabetical order. First we have A. Go and check whether A is visited or not. So here A is already visited. Okay. So I have removed B from the queue. Now I am checking the neighbors of B. A is already visited. So I cannot proceed with respect to A. Just ignore it. If a node is already visited, ignore it. Then check the other neighbor of B. B is having the next neighbor as E. Go and check whether it is visited or not. E is not visited so far. So you have to now visit E. So mark visited of E as 1. After that, insert E into the queue. Then you have to add E in the output. So E is now reachable from B. So give connection between B and E. Now I have finished all the neighbors of B. I cannot proceed with respect to B further. I have removed B from the queue. I have explored it completely. So what is my next step? Since I cannot proceed from B further, I have to remove the next node from the queue. So in the queue now, the next node you can remove is C. So take C. Now check which are all the neighbors of C. So I am removing C from the queue. After that, I am checking the neighbors of C. C is having two neighbors, A and F. Now let me check in the alphabetical order. I am going and checking A first. A is already visited, so I am going to ignore it. Then check the next neighbor of C, it is F. F is not visited so far. In the previous, it is 0. So I am going to mark F as visited. Then I am going to insert F in the queue. After that, connect F to C because you are reaching F from C only. Then C is having only two neighbors. Now C is completely explored. Now you cannot proceed from C further. So remove the next node from the queue. The next node is D. Now we are going to check the neighbors of D. So I am removing D from the queue. Now Q is not having the node D. Now go and check the neighbors of D. D is having two neighbors A and G. Check in the alphabetical order in the visited array. A is already visited, but G is not visited. So I am going to mark visited of G as 1. After that, I'm going to push G in the queue. Then I'll be connecting G to D. Now I have explored all the neighbors of node D. So to go and remove the next node from the queue, remove it. Removing E, you have to go and check the neighbors of E. Now E is having two neighbors, B and then H. So first remove E, then go and check B and H. B is already mark visited of H as 1. After that, insert H into the queue, then you add H in the output graph or tree, whatever may be. In the output diagram, you're going to add H. So now E is having two neighbors. Since B is already visited, you are ignoring it. You are checking the next neighbor, that is H. H is previously unvisited. So you are going to visit it, mark as 1. Then insert that into the queue, then add that to the output. So now, with respect to this node, we have finished all the neighbors. So we cannot proceed further. So remove the next node from the queue. The next node is F. So I'm going to remove F from the queue. Let me remove it. Go and check the neighbors. F is having two neighbors now, C and H, but both are already visited. So that means you cannot proceed with respect to that node further. So go and remove the next node from the graph, from the queue. The next node is G. G is now having two neighbors. One is D, another is H. And both the neighbors have been already visited. So you cannot explore that further. So remove that also from the queue. Next, take H. H is having now 3 neighbors, okay? And you have already explored all the neighbors of H, so you cannot proceed further. So remove that also from the queue. Now your queue is empty. When your queue is empty, it means that whichever node is reachable from the source node, you have visited all the nodes. So your algorithm is over. So this is your final search output. So in this, all the nodes, whichever is present in the graph, that is present in the output, but sometimes it need not be. Some of the nodes may not be present in the output. It means that those nodes are not reachable from A. In which case you will be having conditions like that. Let me give you one example. If some of the nodes are having any incoming edges, it means that you cannot visit from any node to that particular node. So that will not be appearing in your graph. That is in the output. Okay, so that is one example where you cannot reach to a particular node. And don't expect that all the nodes in the graph will be coming in the output. So now this is how the BFS is going to work. Now let us see how to implement BFS. Similar to DFS, we can implement BFS in 2 ways. You can implement either by using the adjacency matrix or by using adjacency list. So now let us go for the adjacency matrix implementation of BFS. And I have already told you that when your given graph is a sparse graph, sparse means many of the entries will be having 0 value in the adjacency matrix. Okay, the reason is in case of sparse graph, the maximum number of edges will not be present. Okay, so in that case, don't go for the adjacency matrix, go only for the adjacency list. Suppose if your graph is a dense graph, that means almost all the edges are present in the graph. In that case, you go for the adjacency matrix. The reason is when you go for adjacency list, you are maintaining a linked list. In a linked list, in addition to the value of the node, you are going to maintain the pointer also. A pointer is going to occupy a certain number of bytes in the memory. So it is going to waste your memory. So in that case, you go for the adjacency matrix. So whenever you write your program, you should be clear about which approach you are going to follow. So in data structure, selecting the best data structure is going to be a big, it's going to play a big role because that is going to save your time as well as your memory requirement. Now let us see the program. So first, I'm including the necessary header file. After that, I'm going to create a 2D array for the adjacency matrix. So A is the array for the adjacency matrix. And when you declare the size of the array, check what is the maximum number of nodes in your graph. If my graph is going to have maximum of 10 nodes, I'm going to declare A as a 2D matrix with size 10 cross 10. Always remember the adjacency matrix will be a square matrix only because the rows are going to be represented by vertices as well as columns represent the vertices. So it is a square matrix. Then you are going to consider one 1D array visited, and this visited is going to have as many entries as that of the number of vertices in your graph. So the dimension of visited is now same as the dimension, one of the dimension of your adjacency matrix. That is nothing but maximum number of vertices. I'm going to keep this as 10. After that, I'm going to push all the nodes or insert all the nodes into the queue. So I have to create one more array for the queue also. And in this, the size of the array is same as the number of nodes in my graph. So I am declaring queue as queue of 10. After that, when you start your program, you should start with an empty queue. So we need to manipulate queue with the help of 2 pointers. The reason is in case of queue, we will be inserting the nodes at the rear end and we'll be deleting the nodes from the front end. So you need to have 2 variables for keeping track of the index. So I'm going to create F and R. F is for indicating the front and R for indicating the rear. And both should be marked as -1 because initially the queue is empty. When you have an empty queue, it will have the index as -1. Since we are going to start with the first index as 0, we are going to keep this as -1. After that, I have n. N is nothing but the number of vertices in my graph. So I am declaring all these things as global variables. So global variable is nothing but if you declare anything in the global part of your program, that is nothing but in the area before all the functions, that is called as global variable. And if you declare anything as a global variable, you can access all these variables in any of the function declared in the program. So no need to pass these variables as argument to the functions. Okay, but when you consider from the security point of view, global variables are not secure because any function in a particular program can change the value. So if accidentally by some of the functions are modifying the value, it will be reflected in the other function also. So you have to clearly decide whether you go for the global variable or are going to pass them as arguments to the function. It is up to you. But now to make the process easy, I'm considering as global variable. Now let me first explain the main, then we'll come to the BFS. In main, first get the number of vertices from the user and store it in the variable called n. This n is declared as a global variable. After that, try to read the adjacency matrix of the graph from the user. Adjacency matrix is a 2D matrix. So to read it, I need to go for two for loops. The first for loop is for the rows and the inner for loop is for number of columns. And in both the for loops, we are going to start with 0. We will be reading till n minus 1 because the array index will be from 0 to n minus 1 when you have n elements. And inside both the for loops, I'm going to read the value of the adjacency matrix. So in scanf, I am giving ampersand a of ij. So I represents the row index and j represents the column index. And when you are typing values for the adjacency matrix, you can type if the graph is unweighted graph. Unweighted graph means the graph will not have any weight for the edges. We will be considering that all the edges are having unique value. That is nothing but 1. If there is an edge, it is 1. If there is no edge, it is 0. Sometimes you may get weighted graphs also. So what is the meaning of weighted graph is? For every edge, depending upon the cost of that particular edge, we are going to give some weight. This will be useful for considering the shortest path. Shortest path in the sense, if you want to go from one city to another city, there may be different cost in the particular path. So in those cases, you have to give weights to the edges. But for this particular problem, our aim is we want to know whether there is a connection or not, whether I can reach a node from a given source node or not. I'm not going to worry about the shortest path. So let me consider adjacency matrix with zeros and ones only. So if you have an edge, give 1. If you don't have an edge, you give 0. Okay, so while you're typing, you should be clear about all these points. Then, after you read the value of the adjacency matrix, you go and mark the visited array as 0. Because initially when you're starting your program, none of the vertices will be visited. So you have to mark visited of I is equal to 0 for all the vertices. Since visited is a 1D array, I'm going to use one for loop. Inside this, I'm going to mark visited I is equal to 0. And the index in the for loop is from 0 to n minus 1. And after that, you have created the adjacency matrix and visited array is properly initialized. After that, you try to read the value of the source vertex from the user and store it in the variable called source. Now, we are going to explore our graph with respect to this source vertex. We are going to find the nodes that are reachable from this given source node with the help of BFS algorithm. So you need to call the function BFS. For that, you pass the source as the argument. Now this is our main. Now let us go and see this BFS function. So in the BFS function, first I'm going to get the source vertex as the argument, and that is now available in the variable v. After that, my first step is when I started with the source node, I have to first push the source node or insert the source node into the queue. So what is the meaning of inserting the source node into the queue? Initially, the rear end of the queue is -1. When you want to insert, you will be inserting at the end 0. So whenever you want to insert anything into the queue, you have to first increment the rear pointer, because rear is going to point to the index where you have already inserted a node, the last node. Now you want to insert only in the new position, that is the next position. So first we increment the rear pointer. So I am incrementing now rear pointer by means of ++r. After that, I am giving this as an index to q. That means first I will increment r. After that, in the new index of the queue, I am going to store my vertex v. This is nothing but in line number 9, I am inserting the node into the queue. So once you insert the node into the queue, the next step is you have to mark visited of that particular node as 1. So I am marking visited of v is equal to 1. And remember, now Initially, your rear is -1, so you have incremented that and then you have inserted, and also your front is -1. When front is -1, it means that your queue is empty. Now you have inserted the first node into the queue, so your queue is not empty. If you want to remove a node, next you have to remove that node only. So what you're going to do now is you're going to mark f is equal to 0. If you don't do this one, f will still be -1, indicating that the queue is empty. But you have inserted one node into the queue, so go and mark f is equal to 0. After that, you have to print the node in the output. We have seen that we need to do 3 steps. First, insert it in the queue. Second, mark the node as visited. Then add it in the output. So that is done by lines 10, 9, 10, and 11. So now I have inserted only the source node into the queue, and I have done all the processing with respect to the source node. Then what I have to do, I have to now remove the nodes from the queue one by one. How long I will be removing the nodes from the queue? Till the queue becomes empty. So you are going to do some steps repeatedly. That means I need to write a loop. So I am now writing the while loop. In the while loop, I need to give the condition. The condition here is I need to remove the nodes from the queue. When the queue is empty, I'll be stopping the removing process. So how to know whether the queue is empty or not? If your front pointer is less than or equal to rear, that means that the queue is not empty. When front is greater than rear, it means the queue is empty. Because every time when you remove an element from the queue, you are going to increment the front pointer. When front is greater than rear, it means the queue is empty. So in the while loop, you give the condition as while front is less than or equal to r. When f is less than or equal to r, the queue is not empty. So what you have to do now, when the queue is not empty, you have to remove one node from the queue. Then you have to explore all the neighbors of that particular node. So what is the meaning of removing the node from the queue? Here you can see that is implemented in line number 14. In case of removing the node from the queue, I have to remove the node which is pointed by the front index. So first I am taking the data available in queue of f. Okay, after that I have to increment f by 1. So here you can see I have implemented postfix increment. That means first I will be deleting the data from the queue which is available at the index f. After that I will increment f by 1. Okay, so now when you delete the data from the queue, store it in the variable called v. V is currently having the node you are going to explore currently. Now what we are going to do with respect to this node, we have removed the node from the queue and we have seen that we need to follow 3 steps. For all the neighbors of the node, you have to go and check whether the neighbor is visited or not. So I have to check all the neighbors. When I explained in the diagram, I told that you check the neighbors in the alphabetical order or ascending order. So I don't know which are all the neighbors of the given node. So I have to check only with the help of adjacency matrix. So now I'm going to check for all the nodes in my graph. So for that, I'm writing a for loop. The index of the for loop is from 0 to n minus 1 because totally I have n nodes. So for u is equal to 0, u less than n, u plus plus. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to check all the nodes in the graph whether they are the neighbors of this v or not. V is the current node I am considering. Now, let me check that. So I am going to consider a node given by the index u. I'll be checking first whether this is the neighbor of v. How to check whether u is a neighbor of v? With the help of adjacency matrix. So see the condition here. I am checking if a of v u is equal to 1. It means that in the row pointed by v and in the column of u, you are checking whether the entry is 1. It means that is your neighbor. If it is 1, that is your neighbor. Then what I have to check? I have to check whether the neighbor is already visited or not. So the second condition is check whether visited of u is equal to 0. When these two conditions are true, I have given here AND operator. That means both the conditions must be true. When both conditions are true, what is the meaning is u is a neighbor of v and also u is not visited so far. So what we have to do now? We got one unvisited neighbor. So we have to now do all the 3 steps with respect to that particular neighbor. So what are the steps we have to do? First, print it in the output. That is nothing but I'm going to print the neighbor u in the output. After that, I need to insert u in the queue. Inserting is nothing but increment rear, that is plus plus r. After that, in the new index of the queue, you add u. That means q of plus plus r is equal to u. Then you mark visited of u is equal to 1. When you do that, you have checked for one neighbor of the given source node v. You have to repeat the same step for all the neighbors of v because it is breadth first search. Breadth first search means you will take one node, you will check for all the neighbors. So for that only I have written the for loop. After you finish u is equal to 0, you will go and check for u is equal to 1. That means every node in the graph you are considering one by one. So after you finish this procedure for all the nodes, when you come outside the while loop in line number 24, it means that you have visited all the nodes that are reachable from the given source node. So your job is over. Then this is a program for BFS. Now let us see how this will work with an example, how you are supposed to give the input. Let me consider this graph. It is a directed graph. So once the graph is given to you, first you have to construct the adjacency matrix because that should be fed as input to your algorithm. So first, I'm going to create the adjacency matrix for this. Totally, there are 4 nodes in this graph. So I need to create a 2D array of dimension 4 cross 4. So in that, red color represents all the rows and green represents the columns and this blue represents the cells. So these cells only are going to decide now. So how to decide it? So first consider the row of 0. In this, you are going to check the node 0. Check whichever nodes are having outgoing edges. So there only you are going to fill 1. Okay, now 0 is having 2 outgoing edges. One is connecting to 1, another is connecting to 2. So now you go to 0. In the outgoing edges of 1 and 2, you mark 1. So now this is for 0. After that, in the remaining columns, since you don't have any outgoing edges, you are going to mark 0. That means from 0, you can reach only the nodes 1 and 2 directly. After that, check the node 1. Node 1 is having only one outgoing edge, that is to 3. So in the row of 1, in the column of 3, you mark 1. In the remaining columns, you mark 0. Then check the next node 2. 2 is having 2 outgoing edges to 1 and 3. There is a mistake here, guys. In case of the row of 2, I have to mark 1 under the column 1 as well as the column 3. Okay, here wrongly I have marked for column 2. So you can mark it for column 1 and then 3 when you do the program. Then consider the node 3. 3 is not having any outgoing edges. That means you will fill 0 for all the columns in row 3. So now this is over. So I have constructed the adjacency matrix. After that, when you run your program, first it will ask you total number of vertices. You can give it as 4. Then you have to enter the adjacency matrix. So when you enter the adjacency matrix, you enter row by row because we are maintaining row major order. So enter the elements row by row. So I am first entering the first row, second row and so on. Once you finish it, you have to type the source vertex. So you can enter any vertex. Here I am giving the vertex as 2. So now you will be getting the output. So if you see this output, we are getting only 3 values, 2, 1 and 3. 0 is not at all displayed. So totally we have 4 nodes. So don't expect all the 4 nodes in the output. Whichever is reachable from the source node 2, only that will be displayed in the output because now we are dealing with directed graph. So now what is the meaning of this one is, you see, first I'm starting with the 2. Whichever the neighbors of 2 that will be displayed first, that means 1 and 3 will be displayed. So you have in the output 2, 1 and 3. After that, 0 is not coming in the output. What is the meaning is, you see the node 0, it is not having any incoming edges. That means from none of the nodes you can reach this 0. From 0 you can reach other nodes, but you cannot reach the 0 from any other node. That's why 0 is not coming in the output. Okay, so this is how you can run your program. Similarly, here I have, in the second run, I have considered the source vertex as 0. So in this, I am getting all the 4 nodes because 0 is having outgoing edge. When I start with 0, I can reach both 1 as well as 2. So first 0 will be displayed, then 1 will be displayed, after that 2 will be displayed. Then you will consider the neighbors of neighbor of 0. That means first 1 is having the neighbor as 3, that's why 3 is displayed. So now your output differs according to the source vertex you are considering, even though your adjacency matrix is same for both the examples. According to your source vertex, you will get your output in different order. It is going to tell you which are all the nodes you can reach from that particular source node. So with this, I'm going to finish this BFS. Here BFS is nothing but breadth first search, DFS is depth first search. And when you implement for BFS, you have to use queues to find the shortest path. And for DFS, you are going to use stacks. Then in case of BFS, you reach a destination vertex with minimum number of edges from the source vertex. The meaning is every time you are reaching from a node, whichever neighbors are reachable, that you are finishing it completely. So in case of BFS, you can visit any vertex with minimum number of edges. And you can use this algorithm to find the shortest path from a given source node to all the remaining nodes. If it is reachable, you will find it with minimum number of edges. Whereas in case of DFS, you are starting with a node, you are not exploring the neighbors of the node completely. You are going deeper one by one. So you will never get shortest path if you go for DFS. So if you use DFS, we can reach a destination vertex by traversing through many edges from the source node. There may be some other shortest path available, but you will traverse through many other edges. And also, BFS is generally suitable for searching the vertices which are closer to the given node, whereas DFS is generally suitable for searching the vertices which are away from the given node. And for what application we will use this BFS? For example, let me consider that I'm using GPS navigation system. I want to find the hotels near me. So you will turn on your GPS location. So whichever hotels are near to me, that should be displayed to you. So which algorithm is suitable now? Near in the sense, whichever is neighbor to you, that should be displayed first. So you have to use now BFS. So for GPS navigation system, we will be using BFS because our aim is we need to find neighboring location. We don't want to find the location which is far away from us. We need to find the neighboring location. So we need to use only BFS. Whereas if you go for application like puzzle problem, in case of puzzle problem, you will be in a particular state. From that, your next move can be, there may be so many possible moves available. So which move you are going to do? So if you take a move, from that move, you will try to arrive to a solution. You will never explore. If I am here, like assume that you are playing the chessboard, there may be so many possible moves. You will not do all the possible moves. First, you will do only one move, then you will proceed with your game from that move, from the new move. Okay, so here, if you implement gaming applications or puzzles like DFS, you have puzzles like chess or other thing, you have to go for DFS. Because here only first we are selecting a neighbor, then from that neighbor we are exploring all the path. So you select one new position, from that position you try to play the game. Don't explore all the solutions possible from a particular node.